This is the fastest rush that I have experienced so far in Halo Wars 2. I am playing as Forge, and the way I am opening up is I'm going to go ahead and prioritize supplies, go after the power node right away, so then I can continuously produce resources, and when I mean by resources, marines at the very beginning of the game, and make a barracks as well to be able to prepare for a more aggressive style if need be. Now, because I'm playing as Forge, I'm actually going to get Generator second because Rolling Economy allows me to get that upgraded right away. It is a shame that those Marines are getting hit by the node, but this rush in general that I'll be going up against, I'll go more in detail about the build order, but I had no idea that something like this was going to happen. I very rarely play in this map as a whole, especially in ones. And so what I wanted to do was just focus on the power node like what I mentioned and continuously work on my economy as you see here. Because I went Gen 2nd, it has delayed my mini base coming out, which is a little bit unfortunate, but with the additional resources I'll get from around the map, I'll be able to go ahead and recover appropriately. But Colony here, meanwhile, is actually working towards a build order where they're going to start making units right away. When I mean by right away, they're producing a skitterer, they're producing a raid camp, and then they're going to go ahead and produce their Gylots. And this is going to come at an incredibly early stage. And the reason why this is such a powerful rush is because if you go supply gen, which is a normal economy build to go ahead and get hero out, you're going to lose this fight. If you don't make any units at all at the beginning of this game, you are going to lose this fight. And it turns out there is teleporters that can be used in the middle of the map, the bottom middle of the map where the power node is at, where it gets activated and then it can get deactivated as well. And that's why it's one of the fastest rushes, because it's the shortest distance between the two bases. You can just cut right through there. So Forge has been activated and I got the vision and I saw, wow, there are some Gylots. This was way too early. This is 2 minutes in. What's going on here? So I panic and make sniper by accident. Not by accident, I thought I'd be able to respond with snipers, but the two Gylots have already shown up, and the way this person is going to go ahead and approach this is they're going to start attacking my main base, and there's two grunts, well, three grunts with two skitterers each. And so I have a sniper that's going to be out, which is great, but now I realize, hey, Hellbringers is actually what I need. And if this player actually focused down on my units first, it would have worked. So their approach is simple. Have the Gylots go after the economy of my army, of my base as a whole, and have the grunts go after my marines. But because I'm double producing marines and I'm producing Hellbringers as well, this is actually a fight that I will eventually be able to overcome. And the fact that they stack the Gylots like that is a little bit unfortunate in that regards, but because of this is really all they had. They literally dedicated their starting resources just towards making two skitterers, a raid camp, and two Gylots. At home, they have practically nothing, and because of that, they're going to end up resigning. And fun fact, when I mentioned like this was actually a really cool rush, I never would have thought something like this was possible. It does work out with a lot of lower level players, and this is why this rush has been very successful for this player. So I wanted to go ahead and showcase this in order to be more of a heads up on the type of things that you can go up against. And remember, keep making units early. Yes, your economy is important, but look at that example right there. People are willing to go ahead and commit for the kill. Now we're going to go ahead and focus on our next game that we have going on here. I am playing what I would believe as Forge. Yep, we have another Forge game. This time I've learned from my first game that you saw there. I'm going to go with double supply pad right away, so then I can go ahead and grab the mini base right away. And I'm going to be going against an Anders, which is light blue on the opposite side of the map. And Marines are now going to be made. I'm going to prioritize the supplies first, so then that way I can go ahead and grab resources and grab mini bases and make Marines right away. So shout out to the opponent I will be going up against, CR player, and I'm going to go ahead and start getting resources around the map. I was a little bit delayed here. Like, if I did not make that marine and prioritize the supply pad, my economy would have definitely been better off than what I have done. So starting off, definitely don't make more than 3 marines at the beginning of the game if you're going with this build order. And of course, fourth building point will be that gen, so then we can go ahead and get that power generated right away while we continue to work on getting the mini bases around the map. Now, Our first mini base will be done, and just like what we did in the previous game, we will go barracks on the 5th building point. And now there's a reason why behind this. If I see that I need to make snipers, for instance, because Anders is going hero, or I have an opportunity to go ahead and pump out some additional units with my Marines to back up for an attack, I'll be able to do so. And if I'm not going to use the barracks, it's simple. Let's self-destruct it, put in a gen, and figure it out from there. But for now, we have a Jackrabbit that's actually going after my own power that's going to be on that right side of the map. And this actually entailed me to go ahead and make a Jackrabbit. Now, this is pretty interesting because I never actually went Jackrabbit with this build. I would just keep producing Marines, but I figured, hey, let's go ahead and scout and see what the enemy is doing over here. Because of the fact that they made this Jackrabbit, they're going to be able to scout me if they choose to do so. So I want to be able to go ahead and do the same. So because of this, this Jackrabbit has been made. Our second mini base has been completed as well. And now we're going to start working towards the power nodes once we get enough units out and about at the location that we want for the node. And meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and send my Jackrabbit over to go and check out Anders' base. Now, I did get heavy metal instead of mines because if they went snipers, mines would be relatively useless, honestly. I think mines are better against Covenant than UNSC. And if I'm Forge, I don't really have any stun to allow me to be able to do so. So for now, we're going to start working on the power node. Jackrabbit comes in for the scout. And immediately, I see that light blue is going pure economy. That means they're rushing the Tech 2 as fast as possible. So that is my cue to start producing Hellbringers because I want to see if I can go ahead and punish this. We're going to go after that grenade ability right away. Keep producing additional Marines and try and get some additional power from the node. See if we can get a second expansion base while this is happening. And so there's a lot going on in this position. So I'm going to immediately get the power node that's going to be in front of light blue if there isn't much of a contention. I noticed that there was a mini base on the right hand side that I did not get. But after seeing what I saw, I'm still committed towards making some Hellbringers, making a bunch of Marines, and we're going to go ahead and head that over. But we still need to get more units reinforced in order for us to be able to try and punish this build. We are on a clock. A turret is now being made, and so that's my cue to just start heading over. Jackrabbit's going to focus down on the turret now. And now we're going to send everybody over to start going after that turret while the remainder of the Marine goes ahead and captures the node. At this point, I want to try and pressure this and break this as fast as possible because of the fact that they are getting themselves a... Ooh, I see that there was a misclick there. So I was trying to get a second base there, but it actually did not happen. I missed on the cursor. And that explains why that second base was not established sooner rather than later. But it is what it is. We're going to be quite near max pop, so we're going to have a lot of reinforcements that are going to be streamlining. And all he has is a couple Marines, and they're at Tech 2 with another generator. So they've gone 3 gens. And now that they're in Tech 2, I need to go ahead and try and punish this as fast as possible, because if Warhogs and stuff like that start coming out, it's going to be a little bit problematic to deal with. But for now, they're going to have Marines try to come in from the mini base, but we're doing some great pressure on this turret, which that is the plus. This is where I noticed that the second base has not been established. It's a little bit of fault on my play there, but we're going to continue to focus down on the turret and have our Hellbringers work on the Marines. Heavy metal will be popped because Sentinel Swarm got used on our reinforcements. We got to try and get rid of the turret that is established there, and with grenade ability we were able to knock that out, and now we have ourselves another set of Marines. We got a great grenade ability on the turrets before it was even able to pop, and finally we're going to go ahead and grab the second base. Continuous reinforcements is coming in, which will be nice to see. More grenades are going to come in to focus down on the turret while we continue to work towards the enemy that's on this side. So Hellbringers are doing a great job. Grenade ability is doing very well too, because those Marines aren't split as well as they should be. And even though that turret will be coming up, it's still going to give us the opportunity for us to go ahead and pressure down on the turret. Now, I went Scatter Bomb here. I think Restoration Drone would really take a long way. On top of that, a barracks is being made at the back left side of that base. I'm floating a lot of supplies, so I'm going to go ahead and use my power instead of getting Tech 2 right away. Let's upgrade infantry because of the fact that we have a bunch of infantry set up already in this fight. So The barracks is set up on their side, but we're doing some great base damage all the way around. We're continuously sending our rallies over to go ahead and fight the enemy on the side. Turret is being established on that backhand side, so hopefully we can stop that from happening. We do have a scatter bomb, which we will go ahead and use on the entire base. We kind of missed the turret, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's going to go ahead and be taken care of as well. And because we have all this power, we're going to make our 2 gens right away to catch up in the power department. And grenades will come down to try and go after that turret. But that barracks has been sitting for quite some time. The base is locked. So this was another huge misplay that is being done right now, where we're not targeting down the barracks. Finally, the barracks is being targeted, which is nice to see. But is it a little bit too late? Will units end up popping out from the main base in order to stop this attack from happening? So our economy is still going incredibly well. Instead of supply pad, we want to make an armory instead to get our hero out to start prepping towards that. And there we go. A bunch of Hellbringers are out, and they have their nozzles upgraded as well. So the upgrade towards the siege drop is set up for Forge. We have to start falling back. We're getting circled up by it, and those nozzles are really doing some great damage towards our army. So we're kind of losing our infantry now, and now Arc Swarm, Arc Defense is being used right now. So we're going to fall back for now. We have enough supplies to go ahead and use our vehicle drop in order to come back and go for a counterattack. We did lose a lot of units, but this attack can still come in right on time with what we've got left to see if we can go ahead and take advantage of this situation. So both Kodiaks will go ahead and go down, and now that we have the additional vision from our reinforcements that's coming in, the siege is going to help come a long way towards this attack. So we do have heavy metal, which we're going to go ahead and use. Our units are kind of weak. This is where I wish we had restoration drone, but with the siege, that just pretty much wiped away all the remainder Hailbringers that they end up having, and I just hit Tech 2 myself. So now we can get air pad for some Nightingales for some heal. We got some good siege just coming in, and we're going to go ahead and just keep this pressure up and try and go after the turret that's in the front of the base now, because if we're able to get rid of this turret, that's it. There's not much left for them unless the second base was established, but I really don't think that there is one. So constant siege is happening. They do have anti-infantry turrets. We're trying to focus it down with some grenades and our Hellbringers. And so far, it's looking relatively good, and because of that, the opponent ends up resigning because of that. So this was a great way to punish someone that was just going a pure economy build to get stronger later down in the game. So I barely kept up with the supply power. I got destroyed in because of those extra gens, but because I made more units and I killed more units and I did a lot of base damage, that was able to help me get the next additional step forward that I needed to go ahead and win this match. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, but there's actually one more 1v1 game I'm going to give out. That's right, you're getting a triple whopper over here, and this one is going to go ahead and be against Shipmaster. I am playing as Anders. We're practically playing in the same exact map that we saw before as Forge, and we're going to go with that similar build order where we focus on supplies first, and then we'll go ahead and try and get power that we need to get ourselves later in the game. So one thing I like about Anders is the fact that research time is significantly faster and cheaper by 30% just by R&D development 1. And because of that, you can be put in a good situation in regards to trying to make sure that you're out upgrading your opponent. Now, a couple things to keep in mind here. The first thing to keep in mind is that we're going against a Shipmaster, so detection is a must. Sensor tower at home base will be needed, or at least getting a barracks up with some snipers so you can go ahead and deal with the Shipmaster. And that's exactly what my intention will be in this game. We're going to keep this similar build order that we have been rocking, since it's actually pretty strong of a build order, I would think so. But Gen is coming out for the 4th building point, and our supply is coming out for our mini base. And now we have our ability to start producing Marines whenever we are ready, while we still have some more units coming out to gather resources around the map if they haven't been taken by the opponent. Now, Shipmaster here can be a little bit problematic early on, especially if they do teleport suicide grunts. That could be a serious problem. Shipmaster as well if you don't have enough detection, and if they go cloak grunts as well early on, that could also be a problem. So detect is a must when you're going against Shipmaster, and trying to make sure that you're set up in a way where you can go ahead and respond accordingly based off of what Shipmaster does. And I think this opener allows that to happen the most. So we're getting the big power, which red is going to allow us to grab, which is nice to see. And because we've upgraded our first gen, that's going to be my cue to start the sniper production. I'm going to want, usually when I go against Covenant, I know it's overkill. I know it's overkill, but I want at least 6 snipers. At least 6 snipers, so then that way, if the hero bothers to try and show up, we're going to have a response to that. Realistically, 3 is usually pretty fine, but honestly, I figured if I'm going to go ahead and dominate the infantry game in general, then this is what I'm going to want to do. And I will need grenades in order to go ahead and counter out any ghost play that ends up happening. So we do have to make sure we have a healthy dose of Marines that can go ahead and fight. Mines will actually be a pretty decent choice here, since we are going against Covenant and they don't have the detect needed to go ahead and get that unless they upgrade their ghosts or get engineers. So right now we have enough to go ahead and get the power node on the left hand side, and we're going to continue to work on those power nodes. And we're going to continue with sniper production, keep marine production, and we're going to now start fighting for the power nodes. We're going to see if second bases have been established, which they have not. And we're also going to send our marine to eventually be able to go ahead and scout the main base. Now this is a good engagement right here. 4 grunts showed up, but we have snipers in the back, and we're going to easily be able to take out the remainder of the grunts that are here in this area, which means we're going to go ahead and get a free node because of it. So that's very nice to see. And we still have plenty of reinforcements coming in with snipers and marines. We're just going to keep working on the power nodes for now. We have a marine that's going to come in and scout to see if we need it. We are generating enough supply such that we can get ourselves our second gen. And now that we've got our first 2 power nodes, right, that acts as one unupgraded gen. So we're looking pretty good in that regards. And seeing what I saw, they went with the classic double supply, double gen hero build. And so that means snipers are really going to come a long way. And this is why this build order is pretty strong, because I have so much more than what the opponent currently has. And so even if Shipmaster does show up, we easily will be able to respond with that accordingly. So we're going to get the 3rd power node, which will be in the middle. Once we are able to capture that, that's going to look very advantageous for us. And this mini base will continue the supply that we're looking for. But while we go over this power node that's going to be on this right hand side for us to go ahead and grab, we got some free power, which is always nice to see. That's going to allow more production that we need for our snipers, because as I said, I'm going pretty hard with that. We're going to make our sensor tower in case Shipmaster comes in from the other side, so we will be able to be prepared for that. We're working towards the bottom node, and we actually never captured the middle node as well. So we're going to end up having all 5 power nodes, which is going to be incredibly strong. That's practically an upgraded gen, and like 0.5 of that of a regular gen. So we're going to be generating a lot of power, which is nice to see, because we are floating a little bit of supply right now. Because of that, we're going to go ahead and get our 3rd gen. So we're going to be getting a lot of power coming in really soon, which means Tech 2 is going to happen really nicely. And we're going to go with Restoration Drone instead. The thought process here is that since Shipmaster went hero, heal will make things longer, because it's going to be harder to get rid of my army. I think my army is significantly stronger than what red has, and so I think Restoration Drone will be the better play in this case. So we're going to have some marines scattered around to go ahead and look for expansion bases. Red is thinking about going after the power node, but because of the amount of units I have, they're going to end up retreating from that right away. Tech 2 is now going to start being established. We will make 1 turret just in case Shipmaster is trying to come around, but with what we've got, we're going to start engaging the mini base on that right hand side, which is nice to see. We do have a leader ability if we want to go ahead and use it, but we haven't used it just yet. And now we're going to start working towards the left side to see if an expansion base has been established, because we're looking very good. We have all the power nodes. We can go ahead and start working on a hero because of the fact that we are max population. And there you have it. A second base is actually being established. We actually have a little bit of a fight skirmish that's happening over this mini base. So we're going to split our Marines up a little bit. We're also going to bring our snipers a little bit more back because we don't want them to be in a situation where they're going to get all cleansing together. So airpad and another barracks is going to be made. We're really going to commit towards that. Meanwhile, this fight is looking all right for us as a whole. We do have some snipers that will continue to have properly split while we continue to send some reinforcements over to deal with this expansion base. And as these Marines are coming in, we now have arc defense ready to go. And we do have the grenade ability that we'll continue to use. Now here comes Shipmaster with some grunts. Honestly, it's not that much, but a cleansing beam's coming in, but we came in pre-split, which is looking very nice with the fact that we were able to go ahead and do that. I went to go ahead and work on leader abilities, and because of that, my Marines at the top kind of got destroyed. So a little bit unfortunate in that regards, but we are going to be able to get the mini base and the expansion base, and because of that, they are going to end up resigning as well. So I hope you enjoyed these 3 1v1 games. They all gave a different take on everything going on. In this one, I dominated in practically everything except for leader power use, which I did use a restoration drone, but it is what it is. And with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. If so, feel free to leave a like. And with that being said, enjoy the rest of your day, evening, afternoon, hour, whatever it is. And until the next commentary video.